Hey y'all, it's Rhegis from the MorrisMansionBlog.com. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be working on sprucing up my front porch for spring. We're going to do a couple of DIYs and a whole lot of fails, but it's okay. We learned to pivot and I hope you enjoy. So this is what we're starting out with. It's not too bad. It's just kind of boring from winter time. And I need to clean everything up, spruce it up with some plants, and do a couple of DIYs out here. So first I'm going to start by painting the trim around my front door the same color as the front door. So I'm going to give it a good clean first, and then I will get to painting. Now that it is officially spring, I would love to know, what is your favorite season? I was a firm summer girly when I was growing up because that's when my birthday is and we were out of school. And then I was pretty much a fall girly for many, many years. Now I just kind of enjoy the seasons as they come. I've always been ready to transition when it's time to. I like it to be hot when it's supposed to be hot, and I like it to be cool when it's supposed to be cool. So that is kind of my preference. I'd love to know if you like it hot, cold, whatever. Just drop a comment or leave an emoji, flower for spring, sun for summer. You get the idea. Just let me know what your favorite season is and your favorite memories associated with your favorite season. I'd love to know. Also, if you're wondering what color this is, it is Meadow Sage from Sherwin-Williams. I always get a sample pot from Lowe's. They come in satin, and I usually get the Valspar because it's the cheapest. Now I'm cleaning off the front porch. It needs a good sweep, and then I will tell you about what I want to do next as far as DIYs. You see my stencil out, so you may have a clue, and then I'll explain everything that went wrong. So this is what's called a stain for patio, for concrete. I don't know the color. It's like a pinky terracotta color. I'm looking at this. It's very, very pink. And if I put it next to the brick, it like kind of matches. So I'm going to try a little bit in this corner right here to be a little inconspicuous, and see if I even want to do this. Yeah. I'm scared. Do it in this very back corner. Oh my goodness, that is pink. We're just gonna give it a try. We're just gonna give it a try. So let me explain. My plan was to go over some of the bricks in a more red brick color, like a barn red or a terracotta red. And I saw this paint color this stain color on the Oops paint shelf at Lowe's paint department, and decided to take a gamble because it was only $15 instead of a $40 can of the porch and patio paint from Valspar. When I first painted this porch, you could get that stuff in a quart size. Now you can only get a gallon. So I decided to take a gamble and try this paint or this stain, and I thought maybe, just maybe, it'll be the color I'm looking for. But clearly it's not. That's why I decided to try a couple of bricks, and it's very pink. So I'm going to just wait and see what I want to do, and decided not to ultimately use this stain, and it made some other decisions out here a little bit easier. Okay, so we're pivoting because this is pink. This is straight up pink. I took a chance. I knew that. It's only $15. So I'm glad I didn't buy a $40 can of something and it not work. We'll revisit this, but not today. We're gonna pivot. I have these pots that I got a couple of years ago. They are from just a little place here called Pop something. I don't know. They were very inexpensive. They were like $15. And for being $15 each, they looked pretty decent and like, you know, faux concrete or something. So I was pretty happy with those. They've been in the bushes, so I need to dust them off. I have this greenery from Hobby Lobby. It's a little bit different, but I'm gonna make 2 sections. So this will be the top section, and then I'm gonna do 3 on the bottom, and we'll do 2 tiers. I'm gonna use a dowel for extra support. You'll need scissors and a stick, and we're gonna use some soil to make them look extra realistic. So if you haven't guessed by now, we are making more of my DIY faux topiaries. I did this on a smaller scale in my last video, and it turned out really well. I'm doing a few things different. Obviously, the scale is a lot larger, and these are going to be outside. So I'm not going to use moss on the top. I want to use soil or mulch or something to make them look like real topiaries. So now I'm going to use some floral wire, and I'm going to put a bunch right around here and make it look like a topiary. So I'm just kind of attaching the pieces with floral wire and bending them and shaping them how I want them. But y'all, this was such a hot mess. First, I added the soil, which was not enough to hold these guys up. And I had originally put a concrete block in the bottom so that they wouldn't blow away, and that made it even harder to put the sticks in there, and then they just fell over. Then I found some rocks that I knew would hold them in place, and these guys were left over from our backyard project we did last summer, but my goodness, were they messy. But then that was the trick to get these to stand up on their own. So I just made a little hole and then shoved it all the way down to the bottom. And then I finished the top of that one to move on to making the other one. So now this stick was too tall or too short to go with that dowel. So I kind of just snapped off the bottom by breaking it, by putting it under my foot and then like breaking it like a twig. And then I still made it too short, so I had to kind of float the topiary in enough material and hope that it would hold up straight. And then I ended up having to grab mulch out of the bag with my bare hands, and it was so messy, y'all. And this whole project was an absolute train wreck, but in the end I think they turned out cute and I'm pretty happy with them. To add some charm to the front door, I wanted to add this knocker that I ordered from Home Depot. So I tried to use caulk to help me determine where I needed to drill my holes to add the screws, but I didn't account for me pressing it onto the door with the knocker being crooked. So this might be a brilliant hack, but it's not the one I should have used. There's a painter's tape trick where you can mark the holes, and then I could have made the tape level and then drilled my holes. But it's okay, I pivot. A lot of my DIYs are something that you shouldn't look at too close. So I just unscrewed the bottom screw and tightened the top screw really tight. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, day 2. The topiaries survived the night. The knocker is still in the door and looks pretty straight, and the floor is still pink, but it's okay. We are ready to add in the plants that I found at the grocery store and add back some color to this space. So I'm going to use paint cans to elevate these plants in these old whiskey barrels I got last year on my birthday. I'll link that thrift haul down below if you haven't seen it. And then over here, we're going to use that paint or that concrete stain. Got to use it for something, so I'm using that to prop up this plant. And then in this little corner, I'm going to add a bench that I've had inside for a long time, but I like it better out here. I really love the red barnwood with the red brick. And so maybe it's a good thing that it didn't work out to paint the floor. I don't know. I'm adding in some vintage watering cans and then another plant. And then this is how those things turned out. I can't wait to see all of these flowers blooming in the late spring and summer. It's going to be so pretty out here. And then I wanted to put something on the door. I thought maybe a basket with flowers or a wreath, but I couldn't find any wreaths that I liked, and I really didn't actually end up liking the basket. So I took it off, and that way you could still see the knocker, And I have an idea for a DIY wreath that is going to be coming next week. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you love how this spring front porch refresh turned out. I'm very excited for spring, and then as we transition into summer, I'm going to get these front flower beds in order. So don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and like the video. As always, thank you so much for stopping by the mansion. Bye bye.